He sent a letter to God. What happened next shocked an entire village. This is a true life story from the 1970s. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In the quiet heart of Nigeria's Middle Belt, tucked far away from the noise of cities and the promise of modern life, lay a small village called Egede. It was the kind of village the world rarely noticed, where red earth roads stretched endlessly, where lanterns replaced electricity, and where life moved slowly with the rhythm of sunrise and sunset. In the 1970s, Egede had no good roads, no telephones, no taxis, no radios humming in homes, and certainly no computers or television screens. The nearest sign of government presence was a small post office located almost 3 kilometers away in a neighboring village. To the people of Egede, that post office was more than a building. It was a mysterious gateway to the outside world. It was in this village that a boy named Aboyi was born. His father died when he was just 4, leaving behind a grieving widow and a child too young to understand why his world suddenly felt emptier. Aboyi was only 10 years old, but life had already placed heavy burdens on his young shoulders. His mother, a peasant farmer, could not read or write. She tilled the land with blistered hands, raising just enough food to survive from season to season. They were poor, painfully poor, but Aboyi never allowed poverty to define his spirit. From the moment he stepped into primary school, it became clear that he was different. He learned faster than the other children, asked questions that surprised his teachers, and read with a hunger that could not be satisfied. While other pupils struggled to spell simple words, Aboyi wrote full sentences with confidence. From primary 1 to primary 6, he remained the best student in his class. Teachers spoke about him in hushed admiration. Some even said, "This boy is going far, if only life will allow him." And then came the common entrance examination. Against all odds, Aboyi emerged the best candidate. His result was excellent, strong enough to secure him a place in a good secondary school. For a brief moment, hope danced in his heart. He imagined himself in a neat uniform, sitting in a classroom, learning science, literature, and mathematics. He imagined becoming someone who would lift his mother out of poverty. But reality came crashing down like a storm. Secondary school required fees, books, uniforms, boarding costs, transport. Things his mother could not afford, not even in her dreams. When the letter of admission arrived, his mother stared at it silently, unable to read the words, yet fully understanding what it meant. That night, Aboyi heard her crying softly in the dark. His dream seemed over before it even began. One Sunday afternoon during church service, Aboyi sat quietly on a wooden bench as the pastor preached. The message that day was simple but powerful. Whatever you ask God in faith, He will do it. God does not fail His children. Those words entered Aboyi's heart like fire. Later that evening, as he lay on a raffia mat in their small mud house, another memory surfaced, his teacher's voice from school. When you write a letter, you take it to the post office. That is how messages reach people far away. Suddenly, an idea was born, pure, innocent, and filled with childlike faith. If letters could travel across villages, towns, and countries, then surely a letter could travel to God. The next morning, Aboyi tore a clean sheet of paper from his notebook. With careful handwriting, he poured out his heart. He wrote about his dream of education. He asked God to send his mother enough money to sponsor him from his first year of secondary school to the final class. He signed the letter with his full name, believing that heaven needed proper identification. When he finished, he folded the paper neatly and held it to his chest. That same morning, he explained everything to his mother, about the pastor's message, about letters, about the post office, and about God. His mother listened quietly. Though she could not read a single word, she believed her son. With a tired smile and a heart full of faith, she said, "Go, my son. God will answer you." Barefoot and determined, Aboyi set out on the long walk to the neighboring village. The sun was harsh. Dust clung to his legs. Sweat soaked his faded shirt, but his heart was light, full of hope. When he finally arrived at the post office, excitement quickly turned into confusion. First problem, he had no money to buy an envelope or a stamp. Second problem, and the biggest of all, there was no box labeled "Letters to Heaven." He stood there, staring at the mailboxes, unsure of what to do. That was when a well-dressed man noticed him. The man had come to post his own letter. He paused, observing the small boy with dusty legs, tired eyes, and a letter clutched tightly in his hand. Curious, the man approached him. "My boy," he asked gently, "what are you trying to do?" With confidence beyond his age, Aboyi replied, "Sir, I wrote a letter to God, but I don't know which box goes to heaven." The man froze. He looked at the boy again, really looked at him. Then he smiled. He asked Aboyi questions about his name, his village, his school, his parents, and why he wrote such a letter. Aboyi answered clearly, calmly, and intelligently. His English was impressive. His story was heartbreaking. The man's smile faded into deep thought. He was a wealthy man, successful, educated, and influential. Yet in that moment, standing before a barefoot village boy, he felt something stir in his soul. Compassion, faith, purpose. He knelt slightly and said, "My son, God has already answered your prayer." Aboyi's eyes widened. The man continued, "He sent me to you." Right there in the post office, destiny changed direction. The man accompanied Aboyi back to Egede. When he met Aboyi's mother, he explained everything. He promised to sponsor Aboyi through secondary school. and beyond, if possible. Tears flowed freely that day. Indeed, God had answered a letter, written with faith, delivered through love, and sealed with purpose. And so, Aboyi's journey began,